Hi, I'm Pete Bloodworth of Corrections Unfiltered. Today, I just want to talk about a cliche that they teach in corrections. And I've had an opportunity to work in different agents or work in an agency, 4 different agencies, and alongside people of from other agencies. And one of the consistent cliches, and why are they called cliches? Because over a period of time, they've proven to work, is to be fair, firm, and consistent. And if you're starting out in corrections, you're generally taught this very early into your training, and they get it to you early in your training because they want you to let it soak in. They want you to understand that this is the mindset. These are the 3 things that when you go out brand new, you need to focus on these until they actually become a habit. So let's talk about the first one, fair. How do you be fair? I had a guy tell me one time how he does it. You know what he said? He said, every time I go to a facility, I make sure I learn the inmate handbook. And I usually learn the inmate handbook better than what the inmates learn. Because you know why? In that handbook, it tells them what the rules are, it tells them what they're supposed to get, it tells them how to grieve things if they don't get it, it tells them how the disciplinary process is supposed to work, and it gives them a lot of other information to make sure that all inmates know what all inmates get. So learning the inmate handbook is a fantastic tool, a fantastic way of getting involved to make sure that you're not doing something here that's not supposed to be done there. Policy. When I say about, well, you're going to give somebody something or you're dealing with somebody, it's always by policy. Policies were written for a very good reason because over periods of time, they too, like a cliche, have learned to work. So make sure you're following your policies, know your inmate handbook, and be fair to everyone. If you can't give it to one, you can't give it to the other. If you're required to give it to one, you're required to give it to the other, and just make sure that fair stays in there. Firm. What does firm mean? I have seen some people take firm as in I get to be a dominant personality. I get to be a dominant person. That's not what they mean by firm. Firm sets the road guards up. It keeps you on the road to make sure that you're not doing the things that you're not supposed to do. You're firm, but you stay on the same road all the time. So that way you're ensuring that, well, this time I'm gonna let you guys stay out an extra 15 minutes to watch TV. Well, I tell you what, you guys have been pretty good, so I'm gonna cut the door early so you guys can head down to the chow hall maybe 5 or 10 minutes early. That's not good. That's not good. There's too much of the facility who's operating off the building schedule. They got to stay on schedule and all those types of things. And so when you decide that today is the day you're going to give a special treat, what about the rest of the population? What about the day before you, the day after you? What about the officer coming on shift after you? So it's firm. You stay firm means doesn't mean that you're an ogre and you're suddenly this big mean person and you're going to show your authority. What it means is that you're going to enforce the rules is exactly the same, and you're going to stay within those guardrails. Those guardrails are your building schedule, they're your policies, they're your direction from your shift supervisor, and so on and so forth. And so make sure you stay firm on that. Okay. You don't start bending one way, bend another. Consistent. You have to remain consistent. It's very difficult sometimes. We have things that in our lives that challenge us, whether it's things going on at home, things with the family, things in our community, things of that nature that are really going to affect us. Maybe we have things going on at work, relationships at work, different things happening at work, and that's bothering us. I met people in the past who would say, well, before I go in the facility, I sit in my car for 10 to 15 minutes and I kind of collect myself. Some people say 5 minutes. Other people say, I got to get my game face on. As I walk in the lobby, I get my game face. Other people they just walk in and do it. I really, really respect those people. But they're consistent. They make sure they're the same person each time. They make sure that, and it can be challenging to do. It really can. So you have to make sure that you're focusing on consistent. If you're having an off day, if things are too much, you can speak with your shift supervisors, you can speak with your leadership to say, I got these things happening and I'm not sure that maybe this is the best setting for me, and maybe they can move you around. Now that's if possible. Don't lock your shift supervisors or your supervisors into saying, well, my gosh, Bloodworth said it, so then you have to do it. And that's not how this works either. You have to remain consistent. And so make sure you're doing that. Talk to other employees, see what they're doing. So if you go fair, firm, consistent, you focus on that. You learn the other tricks of the trade, so to speak. Yeah, there's a cliche. Tricks of the trade that other people are using so that they can make sure they remain fair, firm, and consistent. Work as a team. I worked at one facility. If they saw you were off, one of my mentors said, if you're off your square a little bit, what they would do is they would come in and they would talk with you, or they give you that 5-10 minute break that you needed just to go clear your head, clear your thoughts. Maybe we'll get a water or something healthy. You do something healthy, uh, and make sure that you're working with each other to be fair, firm, and consistent. And follow that advice. Follow that cliche, because, like I said, it's been consistently, good. So, if you don't mind this, if you like this conversation, and if you don't mind, please hit the subscribe button to the channel and like this video, because I have a group of corrections professionals. If you haven't seen our first video, I have a group of corrections professionals that we plan to come on here and just have conversations about corrections, and they're all coming from different angles and different experiences, and it's a whole lot of fun. So please like and subscribe, and if you need anything, just email us here at correctionsunfiltered@gmail.com. Thanks so much, everybody. Stay safe.